Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm going to do what Mr. B hates it when I do. I got to adjust these volumes here. I forgot to do it. Okay. All right. Lark Davis, he's one of the good guy Bitcoin maxis. He's not a jerk about other digital assets. 1 hour until Trump's speech, rumors are floating that Trump could remove capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto. That's a joke because no one is going to have any gains left. And I corrected him. I said, actually, XRP holders do have gains. But I've seen this rumor going around a lot today about the idea that Trump could, in that speech, get rid of taxes. Usually these things are built up and then nothing happens, and so I'm not expecting it. But boy, would that be wild. The official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel had said almost 9 million views on this Brad Garlinghouse video with the announcement of the case being dropped. Now it's at well, actually, let's see what it's at now. Now it's at 10.2 million views. And I said, the world is coming to XRP. They're getting it now. Now, I was watching this. Here's the link to the full show. I don't know the name of the channel, but it's a link to the full show if you want to see it. As I've told you 1,000 times, I was told 3 or 4 years ago that XRP was created to replace the petrodollar and prevent World War III. Against that backdrop, watch this.
We're not talking about the end of the petrodollar yet, but the fact that these oil states are really happy to discuss going outside of the U.S. dollar to transact oil says a lot about the next 20 years of where the world's going. And that's a whole other conversation on oil and gold, but that's fascinating too.
So do you see also the use of, I wrote about this in an article, as theoretically a BRICS-backed basket of currencies with gold, like the 40-60%, could also reduce up to 2% of transaction costs just in terms of intra-BRICS trade.
Sure.
And actually save like up to, I think, 7 billion in just transaction costs per year. And would you see that as something that could work, and by using some DLT, like distributed?
Whatever you think of DLT, it's coming. It's not going away. And we can talk about what's good or bad about it, but certainly what's good about it is its speed and its efficiency and its cost. And again, I don't think that genie goes back in the bottle now. The digital ledger technology is extremely efficient in that regard.
By the way, this is the same guy that was on video talking about what Ripple's doing. Last week I showed that to you.
And I don't want to say I know for sure, it's a mug's game to predict, but I think that clearly is the direction. It's not just for cost efficiency, it's also just transactional efficiency. It's also just the new direction. Again, it doesn't mean the end of the dollar, it just means a new direction away from the dollar, that, well, the dollar is still a player, but these other kind of tokenized DLT-based, local currency, gold-based tokens can be used to do trade. It doesn't require the U.S. SWIFT system, which can be frozen, as we saw in 2022, doesn't require the approval of a U.S. banking system, and doesn't require the involvement of the U.S. dollar. And so that is the slow drip away. It has a slow drip away from a dollar and a U.S. Treasury that for a generation has been the tail that wags the dog of the rest of the world. And the reason that tail is no longer as strong, and the reason that the dog is getting more recalcitrant and more rebellious, there's a number of reasons. The main reason is that tail, that U.S. tail that's wagging the dog of the rest of the world, is too much in debt, not as credible. The second reason is they weaponized what was supposed to be a neutral world reserve currency against a political antagonist. And so other countries are saying, well, if they can do this to Russia, they can do it to me. I mean, we get that they did that to Venezuela and Iran, but now they're doing it to Russia, nuclear power. It's like I've said many times, if you have a bank account at a local bank and they freeze, if I had a bank account at Goldman or Citibank and they froze my assets, I'm not going to recommend it. Again, tired example, but it's so simple. And when we weaponized that dollar, it was a watershed moment, probably one of the biggest mistakes of the State Department since the inception of the U.S. government. I'm not alone in that opinion. Well, now the dollar is not as trusted and the dollar is over its skis in debt. Those are two reasons to look at something else. Again, not replacing the dollar, not the ruble to world reserve currency, or not the yuan, certainly not the real. It's just a slow seismic directional shift away. It's not a coincidence given the weaponization of the dollar and the debt levels of the U.S. that we're not the U.S. we were going back to Bretton Woods 1944.
Yes, sir. Now, look at this. This is Marcus Infanger. He is at Digital Asset Summit, and this is an interesting clip.
So look, in the conversations we've been having with many tokenization platforms and partners, financial institutions are looking into this stuff. It's really this notion of collateralization and using tokenized money market products as a more efficient form of collateralization, I would say clearly stands out, and I think it's where we're going to continue to see the mainstream of utility coming from in the foreseeable future. And I can give you two examples on use cases we're working on with larger financial institutions. One of them is really to use tokenized money market products as more efficient, to create more efficient sort of like repo markets. And the other one is basically to use tokenized money market products as a more efficient form of pre-funding for trade financial use cases. And what we're pretty excited about there is we're combining different products from Ripple's product suite, including the payments product, including custody, including the Ripple US dollar stablecoin, which was recently launched, to help build a value chain and value proposition for partners there. Just quickly touching on, so why is this a big deal? Why should anyone be interested? I think the main pain point there is really that traditional financial institutions, they spend billions of dollars every year around all things credit risk management, and collateral is moving in days, and risk capital requirements are pretty high and so forth. And so if you can induce more efficiency in that and be able to move collateral intraday or in a matter of just a couple of seconds, then that's a pretty powerful proposition. And so I think on the one hand, the potential to reduce significantly. I think McKinsey had some studies there. They expect like 50% potential reduction in operational costs using blockchain technology. So if you think about the potential to reduce these costs significantly in billions, that's pretty exciting. And on the flip side, if you think about the opportunities to move tokenized money market products, or as a function of treasury and treasury management intraday, and have the opportunity to harness yield for a couple of hours only for ample liquidity that exists, and it's pretty exciting.
Okay, hold on a second. Now, if I'm watching the Trump's supposed to come up at the Digital Asset Summit any moment now. If he does, I'll just do it live while we're in here, and we'll listen to some of it. Okay, wait a minute, missed that. This is the one I wanted you to see. You are watching Ripple morphing into the Amazon of crypto in real time. Lock in. Brad Garlinghouse called it long ago. Here's the quote. In 5 years, we are not just Amazon books, but we are Amazon. Listen to this, folks. You can see it. Okay, wait a minute. Here's Trump.
Speak with you about how the United States is going to dominate crypto and the next generation of financial technologies. And it's not going to be easy, but we're way ahead. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit, bringing together many of the world's top leaders in crypto for a conversation led by our White House AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, who's a fantastic and very brilliant guy. That same week, I signed an order creating the brand new strategic Bitcoin reserve and the U.S. digital asset stockpile, which will allow the federal government to maximize the value of its holdings instead of foolishly selling them for a fraction of their long-term value, which is exactly what Biden did. He got a fraction of their value. We're ending the last administration's regulatory war on crypto and Bitcoin, and that includes stopping the lawless Operation Choke Point 2.0. Operation Choke Point went beyond regulation, and I mean far beyond. It was a form of lawfare through government weaponization, Frankly, it was a disgrace. But as of January 20th, 2025, all of that is over. I've also called on Congress to pass landmark legislation creating simple, common sense rules for stablecoins and market structure. With the right legal framework, institutions large and small will be liberated to invest, innovate, and take part in one of the most exciting technological revolutions in modern history. It's so big, it's, I think, as big as you can get. Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike. You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar, and many, many years to come, it'll be at the top, and that's where we want to keep it. We only want to keep it at the top, always. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. And right here, it's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world. Thank you. Good luck. God bless America.
There you go. Now you have it. Okay, here's what I wanted you to see on Marcus Infinger, the Amazon of crypto.
The area I look after at Ripple is called RippleX. It basically brings together all of Ripple's contributions to the layer one blockchain, the XRP ledger, and you highlighted the institutional DeFi roadmap that we're pursuing there. And so it's basically, we have a group of product engineering people who contribute with new financial primitives, compliance features onto the XRP ledger, so it can really be a backbone to power this transformation, bring more of traditional financial markets on chain. What I also want to flag, though, is that since day one, the XRP ledger actually came with inherent features that support institutional DeFi. So it's the first blockchain that had a native decentralized exchange integrated on the protocol level. It's the first blockchain that allowed tokenization. We called it IOU back then when nobody even knew about the word tokenization. We've added other features over time, like compliance features like clawbacks, decentralized identity. An AMM has been introduced last year, and this year we'll continue to add new primitives like a lending protocol that's going to come natively, and we're also aiming to bring programmability and more business logic for financial applications developers to the XRP ledger. And then the second piece is really Ripple at large. And so, we used to be really recognized as predominantly a payments company, and I would say over the last couple of years really evolved into kind of like this one-stop shop for digital asset infrastructure. So we have a Ripple custody product, which is obviously another foundation to enabling tokenization. We have our contributions to the XRP ledger that I just alluded to. We have the flagship payments product. We also launched our own stablecoin and are a partner around like stablecoin issuance on the XRP ledger. And so it brings together kind of like the ability to really be not only a partner for, RWA tokenization, but to really be able to kind of like provide a whole ecosystem for financial institutions looking into that space. So pretty excited for.
Okay, I'll finish here. Ripple, they're calling it a Ripple ETF, approved by 2025 on Poly Market. It's now at 80% chance after the case was dropped yesterday. So the future is bright this year for XRP. Okay, we're going to go in the group. I'm going to talk about the case some. There's a little update on that. I'm going to talk about tokenization of gold and many other things. You can go to join the Patreon, go to daixrp.com. Or if you'd rather join through YouTube, click below this video on the join button and you can join through YouTube, whichever you like. Extended videos with no commercials in there. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.